Hello, Internet! Can you believe it's been an entire year since this game came out? I wonder where all the time went. The original Super Mario Bros. Is pretty simple nowadays, but in a sea of single black-screen NES games, it really stood out. It was colorful and exciting with scrolling levels that you can traverse in many different ways. And Mario's side-scrolling adventures only continued to get better from there. Not you. Despite not originally being a Mario game, Mario 2 introduced a lot of new elements to the series, like new enemies and abilities for the characters. Mario 3 expanded Mario's world greatly with tons of new power-ups. Mario World was a big leap into the next generation with a massive island to explore and one of the best characters in the series. And the Mario Land games were impressive showcases of what the Game Boy hardware was capable of. But then, it happened. The Z-axis. I've already discussed in detail how innovative and inspiring Super Mario 64 was, and it made 3D games the standard for consoles. I mean, why would you be restricted to moving right and left when in 3D you can go anywhere you want to? We didn't really get 2D Mario games for a while after this, and when we did get them, they were handheld remakes. Enter New Super Mario Bros. It was a return to form for the series with new moves and gimmicks. And that's all she wrote for the next decade and a half. Now, I don't hate these games, they're good Mario games, but that's all they really are, and after a while, they kind of start to blend together. They left people yearning for the earlier days of Mario, when it felt like they were much more willing to experiment. But eventually, we found what we were looking for. The June 2023 Direct was already great for Mario fans, with a remake of Super Mario RPG that nobody expected, a new game for Princess Peach, and oh yeah, that happened. But then, at the very end of the presentation, words. He said words! Oh my god, this is everything I always wanted out of a Mario game. The graphics are so stylized. Look at the animation on Mario. There are so many new enemies. Peach and Daisy are playable? Whoa, look at what the flowers do.
Whoa, Zowie!
That's it. Just what the Mario series was missing. Pachyderms. With that, Super Mario Bros. Wonder was introduced. And oh, I was so excited for this game, you have no idea. During the months leading up to the release, I was checking the mini direct with more information on the game, these cute little animations with the characters. I even pre-ordered the game to get these little trading cards. And when I got the game, I had a ton of fun. It was the first one I ever 100% completed. Although I haven't really played it since. So let's take a critical second look at it and see how it holds up. We start out in a new location for the Mario series, the Flower Kingdom, where Mario and his friends have been invited by Prince Florian. He kinda looks familiar. So anyway, he shows the gang this thing called Wonder Flower, and then bam, terrorism. They really can't catch a break, can they? Bowser ends up stealing the Wonder Flower and fusing with Prince Florian's castle, and you gotta stop him from taking over the world. Typical Mario flair. The Wonder Flowers are the big new thing in this game. You find them in a level, touch them, and something wacky happens. Sometimes the entire level changes, sometimes your character changes, and there are even little musical sections thrown in. The music theming was reoccurring a lot more than I initially expected, almost as much as the flowers. The main collectibles of the game are the Wonder Seeds, which are used to end the effects of the Wonder Flowers and open new levels by getting rid of Piranha Plants, while the larger Royal Seeds are used to remove the Cloud Piranhas protecting Castle Bowser. I should probably take a minute to talk about these. Collecting the Royal Seeds is probably the weakest part of the game. The only boss is Bowser Jr. with some slight variations, and sometimes you don't even fight him, you just get the Royal Seed. There's also airship levels that end with bosses that are even more lackluster. You just run forward and bam, you're done. It almost feels unfinished, especially compared to previous Mario games. But they definitely make up for it with all the new enemies. The Flower Kingdom is populated with tons of new Mario species, from the skedaddlers that run away from the player to the Hoppycats that jump when you jump. All these new creatures really help the game feel unique and alive. The power-ups are also really fun. The Drill Mushroom lets you dig underground and in the ceiling to reach new places. The Bubble Flower is an excellent tool for mobility and an easy way to get rid of enemies. And the iconic Elephant Fruit lets Mario and Co. break multiple blocks at once, attack enemies head-on, and use water to solve various puzzles. There's also the returning Super Mushroom, Fire Flower, and Superstar, but that's it, so there really aren't too many power-ups. Also, the Yoshis and Nabbit can't use power-ups since they're basically easy mode, which is a bit of a disappointment. Like, do you know what dinosaurs had to go through? They should be hard mode. One thing I was surprised to see in this game were the badges. Most of them give you a little extra move, like a glide or a high jump, but there's one that adds extra blocks to the levels like in Mario World, another one that makes it easier to find collectibles, and even one that turns you invisible. This was honestly an incredible addition and makes the gameplay a lot more fun and varied. Easily the strongest part of the game, however, is the presentation, with this cute claymation-esque art style that really makes it stand out from the NSMB games. I absolutely love games that do this sort of thing, and Mario Wonder pulled it off especially well. Alright, starting now, we're heading into some spoiler territory, so if you still haven't played Mario Wonder and you're interested, I'd recommend giving it a shot. Once all of the Cloud Piranhas are removed, you can finally enter Castle Bowser for the last level. It begins as one long Wonder event, with elements returning from previous levels and the music swelling as the enemies join in with the chorus. Eventually, the music slows, and inchworm pipes from the first level carry the player to a platform that moves up with the beat, preparation for the final battle. As you walk out onto the stage flooded by the eerie green light, Bowser emerges from the shadows, his face molded out of the bricks of Prince Florian's castle and held aloft by the dark smoke that forms his hands. The metal backing track kicks in as the stage roars to life and the battle begins. The fight itself isn't too difficult, with a large button on Bowser's head that you can jump up to hit, but you really feel the finality as flames fill the screen and Bowser's castle facade slowly falls apart, all of it building up to when he eventually runs out of Wonder Power and is defeated. And with the power of the 7 human souls, the 7 Chaos Emeralds, the 7 Royal Seeds, sorry about that, Castle Bowser is no more, and the Flower Kingdom has returned to its former glory, bringing the story to a close. But I'm not done yet. While the base game is fairly short and simple to go through, there's a ton of extra content to find when you're going for 100%. There's a bunch of secret exits, standees to collect, and extra levels in the special world, which really up the difficulty, especially the last one where you have to master every badge in order to complete it. And when you do reach full completion, the title screen changes, and you get a new badge that lets you hear the placeholder sound effects performed by the developers. So, what's the bottom line on this game? While it's not the most spectacular platformer of all time, it's a bit on the smaller side. It did what it set out to do well, and it's definitely a step in the right direction for 2D Mario. I feel like a sequel to this game would be perfect, considering there were a lot of cut ideas for wonder effects, sort of like a Mario Galaxy 2 situation. But yeah, that was Super Mario Bros. Wonder. With a great game like this, all we can really do is wonder where the Mario series will go next. Wait a minute, I said that already.